For Lautaro Martinez, it's been a season full of ups and downs. His performance was disappointing both at Inter and during the World Cup. However, during the quarterfinal game, he scored in the penalty shootout, and later down the tournament got the taste of the most significant victory in football. Thanks to that, the rest of the season was magnificent. He scored more than his teammates in Serie A, became the second goal scorer of the league, and the second in combined goals and assists. His performance helped Inter Milan to qualify for the next year Champions League group stage without pressuring them in the final. What's more, he could have been the hero of that particular game if only Lautaro had scored when Akanji made a mistake, or at least passed the ball to Lukaku, who seemed to be in a much better position. With that being said, we can definitely say Lautaro had a decent season, yet he is not enough to be included in today's list. But who deserved to be in the top 10 players of the season? Let's dive in and find out. For number 10, we picked two English lads, Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham. It's an exception, and from now on we'll be selecting players from one team. Let's begin with Harry. Actually, he's had a hell of a season. If it wasn't for the flop of the entire Spurs squad, Kane will be higher in our list. But it is what it is. With that being said, Harry had one of the best seasons so far. Thanks to his phenomenal finishing. Just imagine how sadly it is when you score 30 in the Prem and your team finishes 8th. He is clearly the leader of the team, the one fighting while the ones are walking stranded on the field. In the season of 2022-23, he scored 7 more goals than XG predicted. What's more, this season Kane demonstrated his adaptability, which is a crucial skill in modern football. During Jose's time, he became a top assistant. Now he has realized his potential of the finisher and started scoring more headers, 11 this season versus just 4 a year ago. This year, he has proved again he's able of bringing results no matter what. Now the question is, will he stay in London or move somewhere else? What do you think? Now, moving on to Jude, who's had a breakthrough this year. He's only 19 and already received the award for the best player in the Bundesliga. He uses both control and passing to get the ball forward, but what's more is that he himself carries the ball into the box. If in the past he was known for his assists, this year he also functioned as a striker, constantly trying to hit the net. Jude is number 2 in progressive passes and number 6 in progressive carries. Keep in mind he's also number 1 in successful take-ons. This year, Bellingham averaged in 221 shots per 90 minutes versus just 1.4 last year. Jude Bellingham has been officially presented as a Real Madrid player. Galacticos paid more than 100 million euros, making Jude one of the most expensive midfielders of all time. Moving to Madrid is a great choice not only from the brand perspective, but also a good fit for the player. It's a pity that he was injured during the last match day. We believe that Dortmund was lacking his confidence in front of the goal to finally become champions 11 years later. For number 9, let's pick someone from Barca. With all respect to the young's technique and Lewandowski's finishing, Xavi achieved this result thanks to a small number of conceded goals. Here we have to give credit to Araujo, who's become one of the best center backs this season, and to Ter Stegen, who wasn't number 1 only in La Liga, but maybe in the entire world. But we've already discussed Barca's defense line previously, so this time let's focus on the German keeper. Talking about save percentage, he's the best one in top leagues with a rate of 84%. It's good to see that he considered the criticism from last year and put in the work to become better. Mental state is important for the goalies, and in this regard, he was definitely strong. A year earlier, we all thought he had regressed after getting a severe knee injury. The worst save percentage, the scanty number of clean sheets, and overall insecurity on the pitch. I personally remember how during the second leg of the Europa League game against Napoli, while Barca was 2 up, he felt a sinking inside the box. Thank God Napoli was able to score only twice that night. What's funny is that just before the game he told the critics, "You're doing your work. Does not bother me. I go to do mine." Well, something wasn't right. Last year in La Liga, he was number 17 in save percentage with a score of 74. This year, he was cold-blooded. So was the entire team. 68% of total matches were clean sheets for him. Mark was good both in goal, in terms of passing, frequently breaking the opposite pressing with a long pass. But most importantly, he demonstrated consistency and breathtaking saves that allowed this season to be the best one ever. Right now, Ter Stegen is a role model for all keepers. He demonstrated that working on your mindset can make you the best in the world. What a season. Moving on, for number 8, we had two options. Militao had a great season. His interception rate was pretty high and he became the best in the league in terms of blocked shots. Plus, he managed to score 7 goals. Yet during the final part of the season, he made some crucial mistakes and destroyed the whole impression. But Vini proved that he can be the leader from game to game. Despite that he's 22, he was really consistent for these 9 months. So let's pick him. The Brazilian proved again he's unstoppable in 1v1. He's the best in Europe in progressive carries, progressive passes, successful take-ons, and he's the most fouled player. These numbers are brilliant for his position. But the key here is that this year Vini has become number 1 showman in football. Now at least 2 or 3 defenders play against him, as it is a disaster to leave someone with him one-on-one. Yet Vini takes care of them easily. He might draw the defenders to one spot and with one pass make a chance for a teammate. Only Pep with Man City managed to stop him. Yet in the first leg, he still managed to score. Vini helped Madrid win the UEFA Super Cup, providing an assist to Karim, Club World Cup in the last 2 games accumulating 3 goals and 1 assist, and Copa del Rey where he got 3 goals and 4 assists. This season was unstable for Karim, and now the most influential man on the pitch is Vini. We feel like every time he is in the squad, Madrid gets a huge advantage. Number 7 is for the great lad from Man United. Well, Bruno as always showed world-class performance, but in our list we will include Marcus Rashford. Fans named him the best player of the season, and he is the first one from the club academy to receive the award since 1998, the year it was Ryan Giggs. It's true that Marcus had the best season of his career, though 4 years ago he got more points in the Prem. But the current version of Rashford is more advanced. He is now the leader, he brings the results when the team has no one to count on. Ronaldo left the club, Weghorst is not a striker for a club as big as United, Sancho was missing again, and Martial missed 27 games due to injuries. Rashford had a great run starting from Boxing Day when he scored 10 goals in 10 games. That time people were arguing whether Haaland was really the best one in the league. A lot of this has to do with what Ten Hag allowed him to do. Marcus now can stay high up in the pitch and wait for the pass, rather than getting deeper and taking part in those combinations. As United spends a lot of time with the ball, they're able to frequently give the ball to Marcus, and thanks to his pace, he's left in a good position to score. Rashford is not in the list of the players with most dribbles, but he's 4th in number of shots and in non-penalty XG. In May, Ten Hag said, "I think he's capable of scoring 40 goals in the season, so for him, that's a next step." We hope he stays on this track. Marcus is the reason why United is back in top 4. This year, Kylian Mbappe is only at the spot number 6. He didn't do anything outstanding for PSG, yet with the national team he almost won the 2nd World Cup in a row. Who remembers his hat-trick in the final? No surprise, he's the best one in the French league. It's another season when he scores more than expected. But I personally feel this is the time where he stopped his growth. He is a superb player who stayed at PSG when a move to a bigger and more powerful club was obvious. Mbappe no more has room to grow in Ligue 1. That's why in the Champions League or during the World Cup, we see him as a different player. That all just comes down to motivation. It's also important to mention that the way Galtier uses Mbappe in the formation is not the best fit for the player. Kylian personally stated it's more convenient for him to play next to a great striker. That's why, next to Giroud or Karim, Mbappe shows his best qualities: the speed and the dribbling. At PSG, he usually plays alongside Messi in the center or in the trio with Neymar as a striker, and all of these are not the best options for Mbappe. It's a pity that his great qualities are sacrificed for the tactical role. Over the last few years, we got used to assess Kylian by the way he performs in the Champions League. As soon as PSG gets knocked out at early stage, we always say it's a flop. Except for the second leg against Bayern, Mbappe took the lead during the most important moments. The World Cup is no exception, so let's not underestimate him and wish him to stop wasting time in the Farmers League. Fifth in our list is Antoine Griezmann. Pretty much like Mbappe, he played a key role during the World Cup and had his best season in club football. It didn't start out that well, all because of the transfer saga. At the beginning, he was just a sub. In the first 7 games, Simeone was forced to let him play only during the last 30 minutes, definitely under the pressure of upstairs. And the French was fine with that. During that time, he scored 3 goals, including the winner against Valencia, and against Porto in the Champions League. But when this process was dragged, he clearly expressed the discontent. When the saga was over, he loosened up and started doing the magic like he used to. Simeone noticed that Antoine became more versatile and let him play deeper in the midfield. This time Atletico got their own maestro, the player who could control how the game was going. He is a quick thinker who is able just with one pass open up the defense line. Just take a look at Messi, who loves to play with the ball, make more touches. On the other side we have Griezmann, who makes the lightning fast pass and opens up the space, and Morata is through on goal. Simeone for several years had been trying to play more offensive football, and only now, thanks to the return of the French, Atletico started to play with the ball more, carry out more positional attacks. He now has more options, more open players who he can pass and make way to score goals. This year he is number 1 in assists, key passes, expected assists, and passes creating danger. Apart from providing assists, he also plays a key role in finishing moments. That's not new, he was always great at this. Antoine is number 7 in shots on goal per 90 minutes, and he is the 5th goal scorer and number 3 in conversion of shots in goals. When it comes to the way he plays, we can for sure say that Antoine is not about pace or stamina, therefore he can maintain this high level for several years easily. It hurts to say that the French spent his prime years in Barcelona, where he was fooled by money, or should we say, his move was worth it, but not the way it happened. You all know the saga. One day he was about to move, the next day he decided to stay. Luckily for him, next year he finally signed the contract with Barca. Yet Messi and co definitely didn't catch the vibe with him. It's fair to say Griezmann was like a black sheep that time. But now we see what he's capable of. His move to Barca was one of the worst events of modern football, definitely apart from boldly becoming the chairman of Chelsea. The 4th position is reserved by the duo from the team that shocked the entire world this year. Yeah, we are talking about Arsenal, and in particular, Odegaard and Saka, who fulfill various roles on the pitch. There is no way we are neglecting Saliba's performance, who is actually one of the best center backs. Arsenal bottled the Prem exactly after the injury of the French defender, but without Odegaard and Saka, there will be no hope for the championship in the first place. Let's begin with Martin. He's the best in the Prem in getting the ball forward, number 5 in shots and goals excluding penalties, and number 8 in combined goals and assists. The Norwegian defines the image of the team during possession and takes part in pressing alongside the others. He's the one giving advice on the pitch, leading the team and even pointing at somebody's mistakes. Martin is the core of the midfield. Saka is even a brighter star this season. He's the problem solver in the final third. Saka is number 1 in dribbling and 1v1 index. Bukayo is the best in top 5 leagues in passes into the final third, which indicates his perfect positioning, high level of skills, and the ability to play with back to the goal. Add to this that he's number 4 in the Prem in creating potential goal moments per 90 minutes. Thanks to him, the team was able to win several challenging games due to his high efficiency. This season he stands the comparison with the best winger Vini, yet to me he plays more like Maradona. You don't know what to expect, he doesn't have his signature move, but he's got the variety of them. Both of them had a level up this year. 2 youngsters became European stars, and I can't wait to see them in the Champions League next year. For number 3 we have Leo Messi. Leo led his national team to win the World Cup and was reasonably named the best player of the tournament. But let's focus more on his time at PSG. I'll give you reasons why he's in the first in our list without saying, oh, he's not like he used to be, and stuff like that. The GOAT got 32 points in League 1, he's number 1 in the league in passes creating dangers, and overall the best creator in major European leagues, which is no surprise. What we can point out is that his performance during the fall, 12 points in the first 9 games. Then he missed one, came back and managed to score 2 goals and get 3 assists in the next 3 fixtures. And during the group stage of the Champions League, he secured 8 points. After getting closure on the biggest goal of his career, he mellowed out for a bit. The team approached the most important game of the season with the squad full of injured players. In the game against Bayern, Messi had to play alongside the 16-year-old Emery, and Leo couldn't carry the team to the next stage. It's been a long time since done so in the Champions League, and this is the time when animosity started to come from PSG fans. The legend wasn't used to it, but Leo is the man of honor. He scored 3 goals and provided 3 assists in the next 4 games. Yet the team didn't look as fresh or hungry as it did before. This season for the star was not as bad as people think, but at the same time, it's fair to say that he shows his dominance only with low-level teams, and this is the trend. It's not about aging, it has to do more with the dynamic change of football. As we stated previously, Leo prefers to keep the ball longer and doesn't show any desire to run without it. We all know that pressing is the key today. Less and less teams today play with their defenders sitting deep. These are the teams Leo plays well against. These are the reasons why the best World Cup player is not the first in our list. What do you think about his move to Miami? Was it worth it? Or would it be better if he went to Barca? Let us know. The runner-up of the season is Victor Osimhen. Well, people usually talk about him alongside Kvara, but let's just talk about the Nigerian striker. He's 24, and prior to that season, he has never scored more than 15 goals in a year, even while playing in Belgium. He was just a solid player who was appreciated for his decent skills and especially for the ability to control the long pass. That's actually how Gattuso built the game around the player. Yet this season we have seen a different version of him. Now, he's not just a player who scores goal after goal, but seems like a versatile player overall. Front or back to goal? No problem. Move and control the ball? No problem. Pressing is no exception either, and his ability to control the long ball and find a partner in a good position is still there, and the rate of successful air challenges is all-time high. Victor is the best in Serie A in different metrics, but do you know he makes lots of pre-assists thanks to air challenges? Though passing is his only weak side, so that's why when the ball was low, he didn't take much part in those combinations. Talking about the chemistry between Osimhen and Kvara, we'll cover it later, don't worry. But it's a pity that such a great duo might fall apart pretty soon. If someone offers 130 mil for the Nigerian, De Laurentiis will not resist. There were rumors around May this year that PSG is considering the striker, though the price is too high. I believe under current market conditions, such a versatile player will find his new club. There will be someone willing to pay such crazy price. The first place goes to the players of the team which has won the treble this year. It's hard to pick just one. Rodri had a magnificent season and stated that the Sky Blues are ready to pass the European test. They aced it, and Rodri was responsible for it. Let's also not forget about Bernardo Silva, who had a brilliant performance in the semi-final. Yet we believe that the main weapon of the team is the link between Haaland and De Bruyne. The Norwegian is rolling in praises this year, but people usually neglect the Belgium star. He is the underlying element of City's system, the player with lots of tasks on the field, and with that is the most influential one. He is important against low block defense teams, during counterattacks, and while breaking the pressing of the opposite team. It's not a surprise Kevin is the best in Europe in assists and #1 in actions leading to goal. He starts out the game playing a bit deeper, and with time might move to one wing or another. Here's the proof. Kevin is #5 in the Prem in crosses into the box. De Bruyne is great at intensifying and pressuring the opposition, so that's why his passing sometimes is not perfect, but it shouldn't have been confusing as he is always looking for the little space between the lines. If you play in Pep's team, such risk can be justified only with a genius vision. Kevin is not only the brain of the team, but also the leader. Most of the time the eyes are at Haaland, but when he can make the difference, Kevin is the problem solver. He scored several big goals. During the 12th match day against the Gunners, he scored the opening goal. City secured 3 points and didn't allow Arsenal to get further away in the table. In the second game against Arsenal, he scored the brace, which meant that City was now the first team on the table. Then he scored the stunner against Madrid, and don't forget his 2 assists in the final of FA Cup. Here we have to give credit to Haaland as well. Thanks to the striker, Kevin has such high number of assists. As in the past when Jesus was on top, it was a completely different story. But with that being said, where was Erling in the last 3 games of the Champions League? Well, in the first leg of the semi-final, he was in Rudiger's pocket. In the second leg, he missed several big moments. And, well, in the final, the whole defense line was against him. But I believe if he is a future Ballon d'Or winner, he should know how to deal with that. It definitely must be a curse for the Belgium star. How can you get injured in the 2 Champions League finals? Luckily for the player and the team, City managed to score first and not allow Inter to equal the game. With that being said, there is still a lot of room for improvement. We still can see that the chemistry between Erling and Kevin is not perfect all the time. Potentially, in the future, it could be the best midfielder and striker duo. Here's a little bonus as you watched until the end of the video. The honorable mentions go to veterans who play in other European leagues, Eredivisie, Portugal and Turkish Super League. Well, first is João Mario, who as we thought buried his career when he moved to Russia. But this year the Portuguese managed to hit the net 17 times. His PR before was only 6. Apart from that, he was the part of Benfica that shocked everyone during the group stage. What's more important for João is that he is the first player since Portuguese legend Eusebio to score in 5 consecutive Champions League games for the Eagles. The next one is the legend Tadic, who definitely forgot what aging is. He's been the best in the Dutch league in combined goals and assists for 5 years in a row. For 4 years in a row, he's been the best in key passes. For 3 years, he's been the leader in the crosses into box. Who knows, maybe it wasn't the best for him to stay in the league. He definitely could make an impact somewhere in the top 5. The third place goes to the leading scorer of the Turkish Super League with a great advantage. Yeah, it's Enner Valencia. He's 7 goals ahead of Argentinian star Icardi. What a great growth, keeping in mind that he scored only 7 last year. Enner played for a bit in England, but recently he was just known to be the captain of the national team. This year was a game changer. Not only did he score 3 goals during the World Cup, but showed his significant improvement in club performance. That's it, guys. I think it's a fair list given what a crazy season it's been. If you believe we missed someone, let us know down below. And as usual, give this video a thumbs up, share it with everyone so that more people can see it, and hit the subscribe button. See you next week. Until next time, know the ball.